No more time for today, but you can come back and listen to us tomorrow. We're here 7 days a week on Radio Havana, Cuba. Spinning the dials and pushing them buttons over there on the controls, it's El Maestro Tony Barrios, with general production by the El Maestro Roberto Bastidas. Check us out tomorrow. Roberto will be here tomorrow with Be My Guest. He's here every day. He'll be here with Be My Guest, his interview program heard every Thursday here on Radio Havana, Cuba. You want to check that out in the first hour on our broadcast for tomorrow. And come back and listen to us tomorrow here on your radio, Radio Havana, Cuba. Welcome to Radio Havana, Cuba's English language broadcast. We've got news from Cuba and around the world, and some other great features lined up for you too. So stay with us here on the radio. Don't touch that dial. We've got Susana Nieves with our commentary viewpoint for today. Natalie Howard files a report on the 33rd intersessional meeting of the heads of governments of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, which got underway in Belize on Tuesday, yesterday, March the 1st. We've got the mailbag show with all the letters and email messages from our listeners around the world. That will be coming up a little later on this hour. Abel Vasquez has some sports action for us, and Susana Nieves is sitting in for Lena Valverde on vacation. And Susana has some cultural news with the Arts Roundup. Lots of stuff over the next 60 minutes. Be with us, stay with us on Radio Havana, Cuba. Let's go over to our national news desk with Catherine Lopez.
Thank you, Ed. On Tuesday, Cuba rejected the hypocrisy and double standards of the U.S. and the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, in face of Russia's operation in Ukraine and called for a careful assessment of the factors that led to the use of force. Speaking at the emergency special session of the General Assembly on the situation in Ukraine, Cuba's permanent representative to the United Nations, Pedro Luis Pedroso, recalled that Washington and the Atlantic Alliance bombed Yugoslavia in 1999 in pursuit of their geopolitical objectives at a high cost in human lives. The Cuban diplomat pointed out that the U.S. and some allies use force, invade sovereign states to provoke regime changes, intervene in other nations' internal affairs, and are responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of civilians, which they call collateral damage. Led to a scenario with implications of unpredictable scope which could have been avoided. Pedroso pointed out that ignoring Moscow's well-founded demands for security guarantees for decades was a mistake. The diplomat reiterated before the United Nations General Assembly that Cuba advocates a serious, constructive, and realistic diplomatic solution to the current crisis in Europe that guarantees the security and sovereignty of all, as well as regional and international peace and stability. In this regard, he stressed that the Caribbean nation welcomes the start of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine as the only way to solve the conflict. Although experts agree that Cuba is moving towards controlling COVID-19, the call continues to maintain epidemiological surveillance of travelers entering the country to minimize the transmission of the disease.